Hello, my Astro family. This is Lada from astrolada.com with your monthly September 2019 horoscopes. And this month I have good news for you. All of us on certain different levels of our life are going to experience removal or release of some difficult situation, of some blockage, because Saturn is turning direct for all of us together with the South Node is conjunct for the last time. So some karmic unresolved situation from the past that has been bugging you, that has been delaying you, blocking you, that has been making you feel inadequate, not enough in some way, or that's been putting a lot of burden on you, will be completed. And as well, we have a lot of planets in Virgo for the most of the month. So this month, all of us on some level will become a little bit more perfect, a little bit more we'll improve that area, because Virgo is about improvement, perfection. And we'll do some very practical, we'll get done a lot of practical work, because that's again the energy of Virgo, to do something practical, to get things done, to not waste time, to organize, to systemize in some way. So a lot of good things in front of us, and this Virgo stellium will subdue a little bit the crazy Jupiter square Neptune, which is making us go away with the fairies and project unrealistic expectations. So I'll explain to you for each sign. But before I start, I want to tell you that we are doing a retreat, 2 retreats actually, in Bali in February. Me and Natalia, one retreat is just with her, the second one is with me and her, very intense. We have space only for 20 people for mine and her retreat, and we're going to work with astrology, psychology, occult methods. It's called Goddess Retreat. It's only for women, how to basically become the woman that makes you happy, to manifest easy. And we're going to work with your horoscope personally, with each person. What does in your horoscope show that your blockages are, how to remove them, remedies, and all of those things, what career should be for you, what partner for you. So come and join us. And also in September, we have a marathon for wishes, how to fulfill your wishes. It's 30-day programming of your mind, and specific tactics and exercises every 2-3 days, and homework, how to fulfill your wishes. And also we have a seminar, a webinar with Victor, one of our best astrologers, on career and money. It's going to be 7 hours, 6-7 hours webinar, plus he gives you 15 minutes reading on your career and money for everyone that attends. Aquarius, September will be a month of a lot of internal work because most of the planets in your horoscope are going to be in the so-called private houses, the houses of the subconscious, the invisible houses in the 8th and in the 12th house. This is where the biggest processes are happening. Something within you, inside of you, is changing. Something almost on an invisible level that is connected to your subconscious is starting to clear up and to move. And let's first start with the very important event. Saturn, the planet that rules Aquarius. Saturn is the traditional ruler of Aquarius. We have a new one, Uranus as well, but Saturn is the more prominent one, is starting to turn direct. On some level, what it means is that if till now you are holding back for the last few months, if things were developing slower than normal, if you had to put more efforts about things, now when Saturn, from the middle of September, when it starts moving forward, you start noticing an ease happening, that things are starting to turn in the right direction, that you're starting to move forward without having to put so many efforts. And you'll notice this process probably by the start of October fully, because Saturn has to pick up some speed to start moving forward for you to notice that. But definitely you'll be able to start into a new direction. And if you felt like you were blocked, if you felt like you were too internalized, that you didn't have the courage or the drive to move forward, things will turn around now and you'll start sailing in the right direction now towards your goal. But another important process is happening as well. South Node and Saturn are conjunct this month for the last time. And it's going to be the last time for 15 or 16 years ahead that Saturn and the South Node are together. And it kick-started the process about from the start of this year, when for the first time they joined together, of internal release of a lot of karmic burden and a lot of karmic baggage, because they join together in your 12th house, Aquarius, in our 12th house. The 12th house is everything that is basically the last house in the horoscope. It's before Saturn from next year. It's going to move into, from the end of this year, it's going to move into Aquarius. We're all going to start having a lot of new beginnings and the start of a new 28-year-old cycle. 28 years new cycle we're starting from next year. But before we start it, what do we have to do? To purge, to cleanse, to remove the unnecessary. And maybe till now, in the last 4 or 5 months, while Saturn was retrograde in your 12th house of endings, you were contemplating deeply, what do I need to take with me for the future, but especially what do I need to leave behind? You've been, probably a lot of you were thinking a lot and paying attention about matters concerning, what it might be, a habit that you want to leave behind. It might be some subconscious reaction that you self-sabotage yourself always. The 12th house is the house of sabotaging yourself. The actions that you do to undermine your own goals, that we usually do them subconsciously. And the whole universe have been assisting Aquarius, and continues in September, to release those karmic burdens, those patterns. The South Node rules our security patterns that we thought that will keep us safe, that they were useful for us in past lifetimes and till now, but now we have to release those security patterns, something that you held like a crutch to, something that you thought was necessary for you to survive or to live in a balanced way. We have a lot of those things that we no longer need. Aquarius, we as collectively, whether you're Aquarius rising, sun or moon, it's time to release those old karmic burdens that you are carrying, and you're thinking that this is the food that will sustain you, but it's actually a bag of rocks that you've been dragging through the desert of life, or let's say not through the desert, on that journey of life. So, for some of you, it might feel like an imperceptible process, but for a lot of you, you'll notice a huge release of a burden. And especially burdens, as I said, it might be some addiction. It might be an addiction to something material, to a substance, or it might be an addiction to a certain state, to a certain emotional state and vibration or feeling that has been slowing you down, that has been heavy on you. So I would compare it almost to a purging process that is happening in the subconscious of Aquarius currently. Even though they might feel they're stuck and they're not seeing process with releasing those old things, when Saturn and the South Node join for the last time in September, there will be some breakthrough in the right direction. And you won't be afraid anymore to say goodbye to this and to start moving forward ahead towards your new future and beginning that's going to be forged over the next 2 years. So expect certain goodbyes that are possible, but goodbyes that are not painful and, I don't want to let you go. And it might be with people, circumstances, anything of those, but certain goodbyes that feel, I'm ready for it. I'm ready to say goodbye to you. I'm ready to get released from that. You've been, whether it's a thing or whatever, you've been a burden. I can't any longer carry you. So look at it in this more positive way. And Saturn is you. When it's with the South Node, it's shedding of skin as well, shedding of old beliefs about yourself that are no longer old roles of yours as well. And it shows like if there's been some complications in matters connected to the 12th house, say if you are a nurse, if you work in a hospital, if you work in prison, if you work on an island somewhere, if you work in companies with export, import, or in the spiritual industry, these are all 12th house activities, which is like isolated environment, or if you're a researcher and scientist of some sort, or if you're a creative artist of some sort that needs to speak, to spend time behind the scenes, more isolated, to create music or to create art or write. This is all 12th house environment, the imagination, or some kind of isolated doctors as well, healers, spiritual workers. If you've noticed that you've been, while Saturn was retrograde, there was a lot of responsibility towards you, a lot of, you had to put 3 times more efforts, maybe things were slowed down or too heavy for you, you'll notice like a big release from those burdens as well, and that you start moving forward again with matters connected to your career, that there is an improvement in a positive direction. 12th house is also if there was some stagnation in regards to relocation to a foreign country, in regards to a faraway country, if there was some stagnation in regards to some research that you were doing, or very heavy work you had to do there, now you're going to start seeing the results of that. There might be a final spurt of efforts that you have to put in that direction, whether it's research, spiritual work, working behind the scenes, working on something of your subconscious, working on old habits and attachments, but it's the final push, then you release it and it starts becoming easier for you to move forward. Okay, and if there was some, what else is the 12th house? Problems with sleeps, again, whether it's a lot of you might have felt like you're dreaming a lot of things from the past, because the south node is the past, Saturn is to work through those things, and the 12th house is dreams. So you've been working on a lot of your past karma actually in your subconscious through your dreams. So if you've noticed a lot of dreams connected to things from childhood, from school, or from the past, this is, and it's been bothering you because you wake up tired, because you wake up exhausted, you wake up thinking, does it mean those things are coming back to me, or have I not, like I constantly dream that I'm still in school and I have this business and everything, but I'm still thinking I have to study 1 more year at school, and I'm like, I'm not prepared for that exam, and it's kind of like you're reworking the past, your biggest fears, your biggest pains that happened then, and you are internally going through them, and then you start releasing them and moving forward. You are ready for the next grade. And there is another important event. Look how many planets are gathered in our 8th house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8th house is Virgo here. And the 8th house, it means that we'll be very focused this month on 8th house on the material level is mutual resources and finances. So if you have a business or business partner, you'll be agreeing something, you'll be negotiating something about the mutual resources, who invests how much, who takes how much. And it's already started in August, because the planets have moved into the 8th house, and already this happened for me as an Aquarius rising. I've been having negotiations because of taxes. Our taxes have raised, 8th house's taxes, so we had to negotiate different percentages with business partners and stuff. But also on a more simple level, maybe there'll be a lot of focus on the resources of your partner. There might be some opportunity for your partner to create more resources, new resources from somewhere else, or for you to receive, if you're dependent on someone else, from their help, material, emotional, financial. This is the month to ask for help, because you will receive it. 8th house is support we receive from others, and especially in a professional matter, because Virgo is work, profession. If you need support of the skills of someone else, of the resources of someone else, of the expertise, the specialist expertise, which is very Virgo-ish in nature, ask, find narrow specialists. You can find a good tax accountant, you can find a good what is that, the pension advisor, because this is the money you put ahead, the money that you have to give, like taxes and stuff, where to invest. These are your investments as well for the future. If you need solving or inheritances, insurances, if you need solving or any kind of other financial issues that you need to solve to fix a problem, because Virgo wants to solve, to fix problem, to make more easy, more easy to understand, to systemize. So if you have to systemize your finances stuff and such things, ask for professional support. You'll find very good specialists for that can help you. Maybe very pedantic to the detail, but these are the types of people you need when it comes to resources, such advisors, to finances, to resources. Also, 8th house is intimacy. So you can put a lot of focus onto creating more intimacy in your life with your partner. They say it can make you more sexual as well, this energy there. What I've noticed is you're more willing to open up to another and to allow them closer. And if you have fears in regards to that, you're going to be working through those fears. You might have some breakthrough in regards to intimacy and opening yourself to another. And what will help you, because it's Virgo, all this is happening in Virgo, is kind of reading something. Virgo is a sign of learning, to learn something new, reading something, attending course, seminar, to learning new techniques. For example, eighth house, the house of tantra, to connect on a very deep level with another, to make the right flow of exchange between man and a wife, a man and a woman, because there is just sex, and there is sex that renews both of them. The just sex is the fifth house, have fun, jijik biji, to create children is the seventh, but to have sex that actually fills you with energy, that fills your man and yourself. This is eighth house, deep bonding. It's not just to come, it's to vibrate with to get the energy of the other and to cleanse yourself through it, to fill yourself with it. And that's very few people can reach that level of deep intimacy. And now it's very good month to work on that. Now it's very good month to focus on such things. Take a tantra course, bring specific techniques. Virgo is about learning techniques, about having a practical advice about such kind of how to connect intimacy. As we said, it's also techniques and practical advice about your finances, resources, but we don't realize that we need those also for our intimate life, and to have, because the eighth house is death and rebirth and rejuvenation, and sex is supposed to be rejuvenation. It's not, how many times after you have sex you can feel empty, you feel drained instead. That's not proper connection. This is not what sex was meant to be because we don't do the proper, the deep intimacy connection. We don't remove our walls to bond with another on such a deep level. So if you need to work on that, fantastic time this month. Also, eighth house is astrology, the occult, psychology. This is fantastic time for some psychological work. I'm an Aquarius rising, and I'm doing healing with a shamans. I know how you pronounce it, shamans. They're also the eighth house. The eighth house is the house of energy, the kundalini, and shamans clear up your chakras. The eighth house rules the chakras, the openings, the energy vortexes. So energy work of any sorts, Reiki, healings, fantastic time. Or going on family constellations, trying to understand the deep motivations and the deep reasons of why you're acting in certain way, of why you're doing certain things. This is what this whole conglomeration of planets in Virgo will help you to work through the traumas as well. Eighth house is where we store the traumas. And because the traumas are the things that block us towards intimacy, towards receiving from the universe. And I told you this, the eighth house is also where we can receive from others. If we need support or help, ask and you will receive now. And gradually towards from the middle of the month, all those planets are going to move into our ninth house. So we're going to feel so much lighter energy then. From the more deep psychological work of this eighth house, of questioning, of even you might feel more suspicious, questioning everyone's motivation when the planets are in the eighth house, questioning yourself, examining, reading between every line when someone tells you on a much more deeper psychological level. Trying, you notice you become like that in September, but towards the middle and the end of September, you see a shift to the light and ninth house energy, to believe you've done the cleansing, you've done the purification of this eighth house. You might even physically purge, like throw up or have, purging from behind during this period. And it's funny enough that when people do eighth house work, like they work with a psychologist, that they do on family constellations, that they work on releasing the past, on understanding it, digging up those things, often after such seminars or retreats or work or realizations, they get physically sick. Or work with shaman, like the shaman I'm working with now, he's clearing my chakras. He says, in the mornings you might feel sick, you might throw up, so these are symptoms that accompany. But after this kind of more intense experience of transformation, we're going into the lightness of the ninth house. Now your chakras are purified and clean to connect with higher source. So towards the end of September, we're going to start feeling this source of inspiration, this connection of clear vision for the future, this sense of being unblocked and being more aligned to the universe, being lucky, being at the right place at the right time, seeing the bigger picture. So wow, amazing. You will be in a very analytical, investigative type of mode for the first part of September, digging deep, trying to understand almost like scientifically the reasons of our blockages and traumas. Uh, and then, some of you might be just digging very deep into astrology studies, acquiring the technical part of astrology studies. Virgo is technical. Acquiring the techniques, or tarot, or any such kind of a self knowledge system that gives you answers from the subconscious. And then you're going to be seeing and getting the answers when planets move to the ninth house, and there'll be opportunities to travel from the end of September, big part of October, to visit beautiful places, to expand your consciousness, to absorb new knowledge. But that's so far how things are happening. A lot of internal work, as I said. Uh, Interesting, very interesting. So, thank you so much, Aquarius. If you want to be part of such seminars, webinars, we're doing a lot of psychological ones. Natalia does those. I'm doing a lot of astrology ones that help you give answers for you. We're doing a retreat in Bali, as I said, which is going to be in February, and working on the self again, clearing the past, opening for the new opportunities. And we're doing a seminar with, not seminar, webinar, which is online, with Victor in September on career and finances, which comes with a 15-minute reading of your own chart in regards to career and finances. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next month.